All right, so today we're going to tackle a story that, on the surface, just makes absolutely no sense. You've got a tech giant, Meta, right in the middle of this massive historic AI arms race, and it suddenly lays off hundreds of its top AI experts. It sounds completely backwards, right? But what if it's not a retreat? What if it's actually the most aggressive all-in move they could possibly make? Let's get into it. So, the news that dropped from Meta recently, it was a real head-scratcher. In a world where top-tier AI talent is basically worth its weight in gold, they go and announce a huge cut to their core AI division. And that, as you can imagine, sent some serious shockwaves through the tech world. And this really gets to the core of the paradox here. Why on earth would a company that is betting its entire future on artificial intelligence decide to let go of the very people who build it? It just doesn't compute. Yeah, and we're not talking about a handful of people here. We're talking about 600 skilled specialists. And these aren't just any employees. A lot of them are coming from some of the most respected teams out there, including Meta's world-renowned fundamental AI research group, FAIR. Okay, but here's where it gets even weirder. These cuts are happening at the exact same time Meta is planning to pour tens of billions of dollars into its AI ambitions. See, it just doesn't add up, at least not on the surface. So, what's the real story here? Well, the answer lies in Mark Zuckerberg's grand vision. You see, to make sense of the layoffs, you first have to understand the goal. And the goal isn't just to keep up or to compete, it's to achieve something Zuckerberg is calling superintelligence. And that's not just some corporate buzzword, it's become the North Star for the entire company. Now, what's really fascinating here is Meta's version of superintelligence. They aren't talking about some sci-fi, conscious, human-like general intelligence, or AGI. No, their version is way more pragmatic. It's about building AI that is fundamentally better than humans at specific, commercially valuable things, like reasoning, planning, and creating content at a level we just can't match. And look, they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. The company plans to spend up to $40 billion just on the infrastructure for this vision. This is not a company that's scaling back. This is a company that is going all in big time. So when you boil it all down, their whole strategy rests on these two massive pillars. First, you've got the brains. That's the foundational research to actually invent these new AI models. And second, you've got the brawn, a colossal investment in computing power, building these enormous AI-focused data centers to train everything. The plan is brutally simple. Combine the smartest people with the most powerful machines on the planet. And to lead this charge, they've created this new elite group called Meta Superintelligence Labs. The whole idea is to create this hyper-focused, intense environment. Someone described it as being like a Manhattan Project for AI. It's a high-stakes, mission-driven team that's basically shielded from all other corporate distractions. Okay, so where do the layoffs fit into all of this? Well, these cuts were not about saving a few bucks. This was a strategic and, frankly, a ruthless reorganization. Think of it like a surgical pruning designed to reshape the entire AI division around that one single massive goal. And you can see the change perfectly right here. On one side, you have the old FAIR team, very academic, open-ended, focused on pure discovery. That's being restructured and downsized. On the other side, you have the new Superintelligence Labs, protected, growing, and relentlessly mission-driven. What Meta is doing is trading that broad, scattered exploration for intense, focused execution. So, at the end of the day, what we're really seeing is this massive shift in philosophy. Meta's AI division is moving away from a model that looks like a university, publishing papers, exploring interesting ideas, and it's sprinting toward a corporate R&D model that is laser-focused on one thing and one thing only: winning. But you gotta ask, why this huge, dramatic move right now? Well, this wasn't just some random decision. It turns out it was the result of several really powerful forces all coming together at the exact same time. From everything we're hearing, this was anything but a knee-jerk reaction. The layoffs were actually the final step in what was reportedly a 6-month strategic overhaul of the entire AI division. This was a deliberate, calculated move to retool the whole organization for the next, much tougher phase of the AI race. So it really comes down to 3 big drivers pushing this change. First, you've got the broader economic pressures and what everyone in tech called the year of efficiency. Second, there's intense pressure from investors who are starting to ask, hey, where's the return on all these billions you're spending? And third, that deep internal strategic review we just talked about. This isn't just a story about Meta either. It really reflects a huge shift that's happening across the entire AI industry. We're moving out of that initial wild phase of hype and pure research, and we're entering a new era of practical, industrial scale engineering. The competitive edge isn't just about having cool ideas anymore. It's about who can actually build and deploy them at a massive scale. So, when you piece all of this together, what do you get? What it means is that Meta is making a huge company defining gamble. They are literally betting everything on the power of focus. And there's this metaphor I came across that just nails the strategy perfectly. Meta is abandoning the old let a thousand flowers bloom approach, where they funded all sorts of interesting but kind of disconnected projects. Instead, they're now channeling every single resource into growing one single massive redwood tree, their vision of superintelligence. So, here's the key takeaway, the one thing to really remember. Mark Zuckerberg is fundamentally rebuilding his AI division from the ground up. He's transforming it from something that looked and acted like a university research department into a high-stakes, high-pressure industrial project with a single, incredibly audacious goal. And all of this leaves us with one huge question for the future. Is this kind of ruthless, singular focus the secret weapon to winning the entire AI race? Or is it a massive gamble that could end up stifling the very creativity they need for the next big breakthrough? Only time is going to tell if this bet pays off. But one thing is for sure, Meta has just pushed all of its chips to the center of the table.